Fake news, get your fake news here. These days, it seems that it's way too easy to blame fake news whenever we hear something that's contrary to our position or beliefs. Or perhaps we even do so to avoid the facts as presented. We don't want to deal with what we're hearing, fake or not. When combined with the knowledge that there are several people and organizations out there maliciously generating fake news with the intent to deceive, it's creating a very dangerous situation. One in which fear is generated, trust is eroded, the seeds of doubt are planted, and faith becomes elusive. There's nothing innovative or new about fake news. On Sunday evening, October 30th, 1938, CBS Radio broadcast one of the most famous fake news stories of modern history. The Mercury Theater on the Air, under the direction and narration of Orson Welles, broadcast a radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel, The War of the Worlds. The radio program was presented from the form of false eyewitness reports and news reports of a Martian invasion. In an attempt to intensify the drama of the tale, the only reference made to the story being fictional was at the beginning of the broadcast and the end of the program. This caused some of the listeners not to understand that it was indeed a fictional story, and some began to react as if the Earth was truly being invaded by Martians. Some panicked. Others went to the streets to fight the Martians. And others hunkered down, locked behind closed doors, filled with fear. At times, it seems that there can be consequences for sharing or buying into fake news. Orson Welles and CBS Radio did so in the aftermath of this broadcast, when the cries of outraged citizens demanded that the Federal Communications Commission regulate this type of deliberately deceptive, fictionalized programming. Well, the Gospel from John today reads like the disciples were reacting to fake news. Contained in the story are all the markers of fake news, namely fear, doubt, lack of trust, and lack of faith. Allow me to explain. In the event that you missed last week's episode, Jesus rose from the dead, talked to Mary Magdalene at the tomb, and he instructed her to tell the disciples that she had seen Jesus. Well, the lesson today begins by reminding us that this is the same day. John tells us it's the evening of the first of the week, the day of the resurrection. It's the very same day that Mary Magdalene had made her proclamation of seeing Jesus. So why are the disciples hiding behind the locked door? Okay, I know that John says that they fear the Jewish authorities, but they also appear to be dismissive of Mary's news of seeing Jesus. Were they dismissing her claim as being fake news? What was there to be fearful of if Jesus was resurrected? Perhaps, after hearing that Jesus was back, they were fearful and hiding from Jesus because of how they had failed him during his last days. John leaves a lot of room for speculation as he makes no comment of any reaction from the disciples other than they were joyful to see Jesus. He shows up there to bestow upon them the gift of the Holy Spirit and his peace. Okay, now Thomas enters the story. You know, doubting Thomas? Well, I have to confess, I'm very biased when it comes to Thomas. I think that he's been given a bum rap by being labeled as doubting Thomas because of this story. I'm not just saying this because he's my favorite member of the original team. Some people would point to these verses and say that he was a victim of fear, doubt, lack of trust, and erosion of faith. But I propose otherwise. Thomas is the disciple I identify with most. To me, he's the most real. He says what's on his heart and mind, even at the risk of appearing foolish to others. He's not afraid to express his skepticism or doubts. But I digress. So, okay, back to the story. Why was Thomas missing from the group of the hiding disciples? Was he on an errand? Could it be perhaps that he believed Mary and went out seeking to encounter Jesus for himself? Maybe he's the one acting out of faith and not doubt. Of course, this is the all too familiar part of the story where Thomas says that he will believe what the boy saw when he sees Jesus and he can touch and see his wounds. I think that Thomas might be perceiving that the appearance of Jesus' story from the other guys was fake news. And he was calling them out more than he was doubting that Jesus was back. The story picks up again a whole week after this, and the disciples are still in hiding. But this time, Thomas is with them when Jesus appears. Why are they still in hiding? Jesus says to Thomas, "Do not doubt, but believe." John does not tell us if Thomas actually touches Jesus' wounds or places his hand in Jesus' side. Perhaps it just was enough for him to see Jesus revealed, for Thomas to truly see Jesus as he really is, to see him as Mary had reported. And Thomas is the first to recognize Jesus as who we have come to know him as God, when he answers with, "My Lord and my God." I wonder if Thomas's doubt was a vehicle through which Jesus was able to wake up the other disciples from their fear and lack of trust. Was he also there to reveal the divinity of Jesus to the others because their fears were obscuring their ability to see the real Jesus, to see the divinity of Jesus? Thomas broke the fake news cycle and began to share the true news, the good news of Christ resurrected. He shows us that the fear and doubt created in the wake of fake news can be transitioned into truth and trust and faith. He has shown me that my doubts and fears can be overcome when I seek Jesus, even if I seek him out of skepticism, and that my faith will deepen and grow when he is revealed to me. Well, who is Thomas to you? Doubter? Confessor? Unsung hero? I'll leave that for you to decide. As for me, I will trust in the news, the true news, the good news of the gospel, the good news of my Lord and my God. Let us go forth and proclaim the true news. Hallelujah, the Lord is risen.
And we can respond.
Okay, let me back up again. As for me, I will trust in the true news, the good news of the gospel, the good news of my Lord and my God. Let us go forth and proclaim the true news. Hallelujah, the Lord is risen.